It's Monday, June 13th, and this is your coffee break on the HAN network. I'm Kate Czaplinski. It was a deadly weekend on Long Island Sound. One person has been pronounced dead, and in Bridgeport, another man is still missing following separate boating accidents on the water. In other news today, a Connecticut native is among the victims of the deadly Orlando shooting rampage, and we have a look at more local headlines. Rob Adams will have the forecast and a Nutmeg Sports update, and Donald Eng will take a look back on this day in history. But first, one of the victims of the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history grew up in Connecticut and had recently moved to Orlando, according to the Associated Press. 37-year-old Kimberly Morris moved to Orlando just months ago and had taken a job at Pulse nightclub as a bouncer, according to the Orlando Sentinel. Morris is from Torrington and attended Torrington High School. 50 people were killed and many more injured following the shooting rampage by gunman Omar Mateen. U.S. Senator Chris Murphy from Connecticut issued a statement following that mass shooting, saying that he was aching for the victims, their loved ones, and the people of Orlando. Murphy went on to say, "I pray that all those injured have a quick and full recovery. I know the pain and sadness that has brought too many communities, Newtown, Oregon, Aurora, San Bernardino, and now Orlando to their knees. And I can only hope that America's leaders will do something to prevent another community from being added to the list." Murphy went on to say that this phenomenon of near constant mass shootings happens only in America, nowhere else. He said Congress has become complicit in these murders by its total, unconscionable, deafening silence. And in other news today, the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection said this morning that one person was pronounced dead in Long Island and two others taken to the hospital after they were found on a beach in Suffolk County, Long Island town of Southold, New York. A fourth person who was apparently with them when they set off with a kayak and a paddleboard from Hammonasset State Beach in Madison, Connecticut sometime Sunday evening is still missing, according to the Connecticut DEP and Con Police. The deceased is a 31-year-old man. He was pronounced dead by Long Island authorities in Southold. The two others, an adult female and a young girl, were taken to Eastern Long Island Hospital where they are being treated for hypothermia but are in stable condition. The woman and youngster were found on the beach early this morning after their calls were heard by a nearby resident. The deceased was located a short distance away. The missing person is a 44-year-old man from Manchester, Connecticut. Con Police are assisting the Southold Police Department in the investigation, and there is still an ongoing search for that missing person involving the U.S. Coast Guard and multiple local fire departments. And in the Bridgeport area, the U.S. Coast Guard and area fire departments are searching for a man who fell into Long Island Sound Sunday afternoon when the inflatable raft that he was on tipped over. Hearst, Connecticut media reports that a spokesman for the U.S. Coast Guard said that 6:15 this morning that crews from the Coast Guard's Long Island Sound Group are combing the waters off of Bridgeport for a man they identified as 32-year-old Shigmun Mori, who was last seen wearing a white t-shirt and no life jacket. Another man with Mori was able to swim to shore when the raft capsized off of Seaside Park. A Coast Guard spokesman said the men entered the water on their 14-foot raft at about 4:30 in the afternoon on Sunday. Bridgeport police reported to the Coast Guard that one man had made it to shore safely, but that man had lost sight of his companion in the water. Bridgeport, Stratford, and Fairfield fire departments were assisting with that search. And another boating incident, Greenwich police marine officers rescued 5 boaters on a vessel that was taking on water off Rye Playland on Sunday. The boat went down in just 5 minutes after that rescue was made. Thankfully, they had a radio and flotation devices for all on board, and marine officers on duty were ready to respond. Officials say that no one was injured and there was property damage only. A New Canaan mother was arrested for driving drunk to pick up her daughter at school last Thursday. On June 9th at approximately 2:15 in the afternoon, New Canaan police were dispatched to South School on a report of an intoxicated mother attempting to pick up her child. Responding officers made contact with the suspected intoxicated female, identified as 43-year-old Melina Usher. Upon speaking with her, officers detected a smell of alcohol and field sobriety tests were administered, which she failed, and she was placed under arrest. She was released on a promise to appear in court on June 20th. And Bridgeport police fired gunshots during a pursuit that ensued after a vehicle was reported stolen Saturday afternoon, according to the Connecticut Post. Police received a call at about 3:30 in the afternoon about a vehicle that was stolen near the intersection of Reservoir and Grandview Avenues. About 20 minutes later, officers spotted the vehicle in the area of Ridge Row Avenue and Pond Street, and police pursued the vehicle to Wing Street, a dead end, and believed that the hunt was over. However, the officers exited their cars to take the suspects into custody, but then the stolen vehicle began moving again and evading arrest. One officer may have been struck, and a second officer, according to a spokesman, perceiving that serious physical injury or death to another officer was about to occur, fired 2 rounds at the vehicle, which was struck twice, but no one was hit by the gunfire. That pursuit then continued to Griffin Avenue, where the 2 men were arrested, but Harris said their names weren't available as of last night. And Bethel police are asking the public to help them identify a man they say stole a truck filled with construction equipment earlier this month. Police say the Ford 350 utility truck was stolen from Castelli Construction, located on 30 Henry Street at about 5:30 in the morning back on Saturday, June 4th. A suspect was seen on video surveillance walking through the property and going into several vehicles before finally leaving in the stolen truck. The truck, which has since been recovered, but still about $20,000 worth of construction equipment remains missing. Anyone with information about the identity of that man is asked to call the Bethel Police Department at 203-744-7900. We're going to switch gears now and throw it over to Rob Adams for a look at the forecast. Rob?
All right, Kate, good morning, everyone. It is a mostly sunny day with a high near 78 and a wind out of the northwest at 14 to 16 miles per hour. It's going to gust as high as 26. I don't know if you saw, the cats and dogs and everything blowing around yesterday. That was a pretty impressive windy day. I might have seen Auntie M at one point, not sure. Partly cloudy tonight, low 52. To Tuesday, sunny and 78. Tuesday night will drop down to 56 for the low. Wednesday, mostly sunny and 82, sounding really nice. Partly cloudy and 60 for Wednesday night. 79 and mostly cloudy for Thursday, sunny and 76 for Friday. We go to the weekend with temperatures in the upper 70s under sunny skies around this region right now. You've got Stratford at 68, Weston at 68, and right here in Shelton, 67 degrees, Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Rob. We're going to step out for a break. When we come back, Donald Dang takes a look back on this day in history. Rob has a Nutmeg Sports update, and we have more local news coming up after this.
Connecticut is coming back to hometown banking, to a partner that makes small businesses feel big, where community comes first, where you get the know-how only neighbors can deliver, where saving time is important too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well. Bank smart. Bank local. Bank well. With the 24-month Bank Well Smart CD, you can earn 1.35% APY and raise your rate and add to your CD.
Have a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Walter Stewart's Market in New Canaan is your time-saving local shopping destination for the best of spring. Find many of your favorite products, from great specials on everyday items to the freshest organic produce, artisanal cheeses, and grass-fed steaks. Drop off your knives to be sharpened, grab a beautiful bouquet of spring flowers, and stop in next door for a wine tasting. Plus, their personable staff is always ready to lend a helping hand. So stop in to Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street today, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
You're watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. Nearly 1 million people have watched our live sports, news, and entertainment programming since the network launched in August 2015. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
We're back on this Monday, June 13th edition of your coffee break on the HAN network, and it's time to take a look back on this day in history with Donald Eng.
You can hardly watch a cop show without hearing his name, but yet he never appears on screen. Who is he? I'll tell you in a moment. But first we go to 1373, the Anglo-Portuguese alliance between England and Portugal, which is the oldest alliance in the world still in force, is ratified. This alliance has actually served both countries well. It was important throughout the history of Europe, influencing participation of the UK in the Iberian Peninsular War and the Napoleonic Wars. Portugal also came to the aid of England in times of need such as World War I, but not World War II. The Allies decided that keeping Portugal neutral would prevent Spain from joining the war on the side of the Axis. To 1970, the Beatles released The Long and Winding Road, its 20th and last US #1. A rather sad song of unrequited love. McCartney said that writing sad love songs saved him having to see a psychiatrist. To 1971, the New York Times begins publishing the Pentagon Papers, demonstrating that the U.S. government had carried out a 3-decade campaign of lying to the American people about the war in Southeast Asia. And finally, now we go to 1966 for this.
Miranda rights, or warning. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney during interrogation. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you.
That, of course, is the Miranda rights, some variation of which is typically used in virtually all criminal arrests. The U.S. ruled on this day in 1966 that police must inform suspects of their rights before questioning them. A man named Ernesto Miranda had been arrested in connection with the rape and kidnapping of an 18-year-old woman, and after 2 hours of interrogation, signed a confession, which ultimately led to his conviction. But although his confession stated that he was aware of his rights to an attorney and to avoid self-incrimination, he had never been so informed. Miranda was later retried and convicted based on eyewitness testimony and evidence rather than his confession, and he served about 5 years in prison. Ironically, Miranda was stabbed to death in a bar dispute in 1976, and the suspect was arrested but never charged because he invoked his right to avoid self-incrimination. That is your look back in history for today, June 13th, and I am Donald Eng.
Thanks so much to Don. Time to throw it back over to Rob Adams for a Nutmeg Sports Update.
I'm exercising my right to remain silent. Oh, okay, let's do the sports. All right, we'll start in lacrosse with startling news. Darien and New Canaan are both really good. All right, you want more details than that, so ladies first. Our own A.J. Simonowski was at Jonathan Law on Saturday, and he reports that the Blue Wave got 4 goals from Susie Ropp to lead Darien to a 12-5 win over Fairfield Ward in Class L. Carly Shadell made 8 saves. It's the 4th straight title for the Blue Wave. In Class M, New Canaan got the job done against Joel Barlow, winning 7-4. Catherine Granito and Sammy Stewart each scored twice for the Rams. In Class S, it was Canton over Somers 15-3, as Grace Giancola scored 6 times. Now let's move on to the boys. What more can be said about Darien? The Blue Wave capped a perfect season and have made their case to be the National Team of the Year with a decisive 18-3 thrashing of Simsbury in Class L. Jack Niffen, Kevin Lindley, and Riley Stewart each scored a hat trick in the win. It's the 2nd straight championship for the Blue Wave. In Class M, New Canaan walloped Daniel Hand 13-2. Drew Morris made 9 saves, while Clayton Burt had 5 points on a goal and 4 assists. The Rams have also won back-to-back titles. Somers kept the FCAC from sweeping the boys' championship with a 14-8 win over St. Joseph. We move now to baseball, where the Fairfield Ward Mustangs found themselves dodging history as raindrops at Palmer Field. Along with those raindrops, the Amity Spartans, the three-time defending Class AA champions, grabbed a 3-0 first-inning lead off Mustang starter Reese Maniscalco before heavy rain caused a 1-hour, 46-minute rain delay. Both Maniscalco and Spartan starter Eli Oliphant settled into a groove until the 6th. There's Giacomo Brancato on your screen. He hit a tying 2-out, 3-run homer in the bottom of that 6th inning. That knotted the game up at 3, but in the bottom of the 7th, Amity took advantage of a hit batter, a wild pitch, and walks as Max Sheps took ball 4 to give the Spartans the 4-3 4-peat win. In Class L, it took 8 innings for Notre Dame of West Haven, to beat East Lyme 5-2. In Class S, congratulations to the St. Paul Falcons. St. Paul Catholic defeated Morgan 4-2. It's the first state title for them since 1972. Back on Friday night, in Class M, Walcott's Ray Bartoli lived the dream. Bartoli hit a 1-out, 2-run home run in the bottom of the 7th. We define that as a walk-off. The Eagles get a 3-2 win over Northwestern. I mean, that's every kid's dream right there. From softball, Cheshire over Amity 5-0. It was Fitch 2, Massac 0. Seymour over Rocky Hill 1-0. And Holy Cross won their title with a 2-0 win over Notre Dame of Fairfield. In boys volleyball, South Windsor defeated Joel Barlow 3-0 to win Class M. Ridgefield beat Darien for the Class L title back on Thursday. On the schedule today, Nutmeg Sports at 2 o'clock. Richard Brereton of Darien is our guest with Donald Eng and myself. Richard, of course, was the FCAC MVP in baseball, but he's got some other stuff going on, pretty cool stuff going on with him this summer, so we're going to talk to him about that. But beyond that, Kate, you all get the day off. I'm happy to bring the good news here. Everybody take today off. I don't have any more sports than that. With sports, I'm Rob Adams. I feel a little lost right now, Kate. Back to you.
It's okay, Rob. You'll make it. All right, well, getting back to some more news today, Dr. Gary Chalfie, who's the superintendent of schools in Trumbull, announced Friday that Peter Sullivan has been appointed to the position of Madison Middle School principal. Sullivan has been employed by the Trumbull Public Schools since 1996 and is in his position as assistant principal at Madison Middle School since 2005. Chalfie said he distinguished himself also in his previous role at Trumbull High School as a Teacher of the Year in 2003, as well as an advisor to the We the People team with 6 state championships and 2 top 10 finishes in national competitions. Sullivan will officially begin his duties as principal of Madison Middle School on July 1st. And Milford Bank held its Milford Moves 5K on Sunday. The 5K run and walk started at Gulf Beach, went to the green and back, and all proceeds will be benefiting Milford veterans. Milford Mirror editor Jill Dion spoke with organizers and participants. Check it out.
So welcome to Milford Moves for its veterans. It's a 5K run and walk that's been sponsored by the Milford Bank. We went out to the community and got a bunch of support from places like Milford Photo, Milford Rotary, Devon Rotary, the Launch Trampoline Park, Napoli Deli, the Milford Produce Market, and several others. Everyone's come together. We're here to raise money for local veterans groups in Milford, groups like the Veterans Association of America, the Disabled Americans Veterans, and many others. We're hoping to get about 250 to 300 runners today. We're going to raise about $6,000, and all the money that we raise is being donated to these groups. So thank you very much for the support, and Milford Moves for its veterans.
We have 4 veteran service organizations resident in Milford: the American Legion, the Disabled American Veterans, the Veterans of Foreign War, and the Vietnam Veterans of America. So the funds that are generated will be distributed between those organizations, and those organizations have one primary purpose, and that's Veterans Affairs and Rehabilitation, and that's where the funds that are generated will go to.
I am here to support the veterans for this amazing event. They don't get enough support, and we, as a community, which is great, which is why I love Milford Bank, they're hosting this, and we are part of it. I have myself, my husband, and my son are all here, and I'm really excited.
Thanks again to Jill Dion for that video from the event. And in other news today, from June 16th to July 3rd, Shakespeare on the Sound performs its much-awaited production of Hamlet at Pinckney Historic Park on the banks of the 5 Mile River in Rowayton. It will be the company's 21st season. And this year also marks the 5th season for Shakespeare on the Sound's artistic director, Claire Kelly. Kelly has been an active participant of the theater company as the director of education and even spearheaded Shakespeare on the Sound's K-5 touring production and anti-bullying programs named Let's Play Shakespeare and Speaking Daggers. In order to preserve audience interest and to logistically get spectators out of Pinckney Park at a reasonable hour in the evening, like most of other directors of the theater companies, Kelly has condensed Shakespeare's 5-hour masterpiece Hamlet into something that takes approximately half that time. Audience members can expect a few changes and should look forward to Kelly's applications of artistic license. But for more information about reserved seating or donating to Shakespeare on the Sound, you can check out shakespeareonthesound.org. And in Ridgefield, the Max Michael Rosenfeld Foundation has announced the completion of Max's patio, a 30-foot round granite patio donated to Ballard Park by the foundation as an extension of the newly redesigned playground. The patio, constructed by New Beginnings Landscaping, was created in remembrance of Max Michael Rosenfeld, a Ridgefield boy who died unexpectedly in 2012. You can get more on that playground at theridgefieldpress.com. But we're going to step out for a break, and when we come back, we're going to recap some of the top stories we're following today on your coffee break after this.
I really wanted something that felt like a home. Coming from a big house, I wanted the feel of a home as opposed to a condo. New Canaan is 6 minutes down the road. New Canaan's a beautiful little town to walk around. I work in Westport. My commute is 20 minutes. It's close to Westchester, where my family is, so the location is ideal. There is no other townhome that compares in the area. This is where I want to be.
For more than 50 years, Triple S has been Fairfield County's expert service for carpet, upholstery, and drapery cleaning. We provide the best in repairs and in-depth restoration, understanding fabrics and how to properly clean and restore them. Our staff will come to your home to clean your wall-to-wall carpet to perfection. We can also pick up your fine carpets and bring them to our facilities. With locations in Norwalk, Stamford, and Stratford, Triple S will get the job done fast, big or small. At Triple S, you can count on our people as well as our cleaning. Find us at triplesclean.com or 203-847-8000. At the Language School in Ridgefield, we teach practical language for real life, tailored to your professional needs or those of your children. Offering more than a dozen languages, the school specializes in creating customized classes for businesses, government agencies, and healthcare professionals in Fairfield and Westchester counties. Native speakers from around the world will instruct students of all ages in the language and the culture using a hands-on method. Find out more about what makes us different at thelanguageschoolglobal.com or call us at 203-241-7010.
Warm weather, light breezes, boats are in the water. There's no better place to celebrate summer than the Dock Shop. Whether in Darien at 51 Tokenique Road or Westport at 609 Riverside Avenue, the Dock Shop is where you'll find everything you need to kick off summer. From the latest summer apparel to the newest fishing tackle, the Dock Shop will help you get the most out of your next beach day or harbor cruise. At the Dock Shop, you'll find a wonderful selection of items made in the USA and right here in New England, all with a distinct nautical flair. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the coastal lifestyle, this is a unique place to shop. DockShop.com.
What's happening up in Hartford and what's trending in the Nutmeg State?
Join Kate Czaplinski
And Josh Fisher
on CT Pulse live Wednesdays at 12:30 to find out.
We talk to the leaders and newsmakers while breaking down the stories you should be paying attention to each week.
With the help of HAN's editorial cartoonist Doug Smith, we take a humorous look at the news of the week. We talk about everything you were told you should avoid bringing up in polite company.
CT Pulse, Wednesdays at 12:30 on the HAN Network. We're back on this Monday edition of your Coffee Break, recapping some of the top stories we're following today, including that one of the victims of the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history grew up in Connecticut and had recently moved to Orlando, according to the Associated Press. 37-year-old Kimberly Morris moved to Orlando just months ago and had taken a job at Pulse nightclub as a bouncer. Morris was from Torrington and attended Torrington High School, according to WFSB. 50 people were killed and many more are injured following that shooting rampage by gunman Omar Mateen. U.S. Senator Chris Murphy from Connecticut issued a statement following that mass shooting, saying in part that I'm aching for the victims, their loved ones, and the people of Orlando. He said, I pray for all that are injured to have a quick and full recovery, and I can only hope that America's leaders will do something to prevent another community from being added to the list. He went on to say that this phenomenon of near constant mass shootings happens only in America, nowhere else. Murphy said Congress has become complicit in these murders by its total unconscionable, deafening silence. He said this doesn't have to happen, but this epidemic will continue without end if Congress continues to sit on its hands and do nothing again. And the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection said this morning that one person was pronounced dead in Long Island and 2 others taken to the hospital after they were found on a beach in the Suffolk County, Long Island town of Southold, New York. A 4th person who was apparently with them when they set off with a kayak and a paddleboard from Hammonasset Beach State Park in Madison sometime on Sunday evening is still missing, according to the Connecticut DEP and Con Police. The deceased is a 31-year-old male. He was pronounced dead by Long Island authorities in Southold. The 2 others, an adult female and a young girl, were taken to Eastern Long Island Hospital where they're being treated for hypothermia but are in stable condition. The woman and youngster were found on the beach early this morning after their calls were heard by a nearby resident. The missing person has been identified as a 44-year-old man from Manchester, Connecticut. Con Police are assisting the Southold Police Department in that investigation, and there's still an ongoing search for the missing person involving the U.S. Coast Guard and multiple local fire departments. And in the Bridgeport area, the U.S. Coast Guard and area fire departments are searching for a man who fell into Long Island Sound Sunday afternoon when the inflatable raft he was on tipped over. Hearst, Connecticut media reports that a spokesman for the U.S. Coast Guard said at about 6:15 this morning that crews from the Coast Guard's Long Island Sound Group were combing the waters off of Bridgeport for the man they identified as 32-year-old Shigmoon Mori, who was last seen wearing a white T-shirt and no life jacket. Another man with Maury was able to swim to shore when that raft capsized off of Seaside Park. A Coast Guard spokesman said the men entered the water on their 14-foot raft at about 4:30 in the afternoon on Sunday. Bridgeport police reported to the Coast Guard that one man had made it to shore safely, but that the man had lost sight of his companion in the water. Bridgeport, Stratford, and Fairfield fire departments are assisting with that search. And Greenwich Police Marine officers rescued 5 boaters on a vessel that was taking on water off of Rye Playland on Sunday. That boat went down just 5 minutes after that rescue was made, officials said. Thankfully, all on board had a radio and flotation devices, and Marine officers on duty were ready to respond. Officials say that no one was injured, but there was property damage. But we're going to switch gears now and throw it back to Rob Adams for one final look at the forecast.
All right, Kate, a sunny day, high near 78, wind out of the northwest from 14 to 16, gusting as high as 26, partly cloudy tonight and 52 for the low. Tuesday, sunny and 78. Looking good tomorrow night as well, mostly clear, 56. Wednesday, sunny and 82, just beautiful. Thursday, 79 under cloudy skies. But Friday, we're sunny again and 76. Saturday and Sunday, both sunny days, 77 and 79 for the highs. But we look around right now, Stratford, you're up to 69. Reading, you're at 69 as well. And right here in Shelton, 68 degrees. See you for Nutmeg Sports at 2, Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Rob. We're going to wrap things up on your coffee break. As Rob said, Nutmeg Sports coming up today at 2 o'clock. And we will see you tomorrow for your coffee break at 11. Have a great day.